Backwards Moon, Chapter 11. All day as the sun passed over the aspen grove, Bracken slept uneasily, waking often. Then at last it was night again. She sat up in her hammock. She ate some of her journey bread and drank a bottle of blackberry juice, then took a last glance around her. The aspen leaves rustled lightly in the night breeze. Already the grove seemed a sheltered place that a part of her, the tight, afraid part, didn't want to leave. But she got on her broomstick anyway. Go, she told herself, and lifted off. She flew until the snow-topped mountains that had once encircled her world were only a distant glimmer in the moonlight, low on the horizon. Now on the flatlands, human lights appeared, and some of them moved. Roar, they went, followed by the silence of the wide night, then roar, silence, and another roar. Sometimes she passed over long rows of tall poles. The wires that ran between them whined faintly. Now and then she saw whole clusters of lights twinkling on the dark plain, and she knew they were human towns. After what seemed like many, many hours, the night began to fade. Bracken's heart tightened in her chest. She scanned the plain for a hiding place, but the only cover anywhere, the only places to hide in this vast, flat land seemed to be a few scattered clusters of trees. She flew toward one, slowed and hovered. "Who goes there?" said a voice like a wolf's. Then it began to bark. A dog, Bracken realized. It barked furiously, with mindless hatred. Bracken sped away. She tried another grove, but there among the trees sat a human house, its windows staring. Another dog bayed, and every moment the sky grew lighter. Bracken's hand crept to the woodfolk bead necklace, but Toadflax had told her to use it only in direst need. Far ahead, a river glittered in the sun's first rays. Bracken sped toward it, then slowed above the cottonwoods that grew along its banks. She landed in a treetop. She stowed her broom but lingered, watching through the screen of leaves as the red sun rose and the sky filled with light. A bank of clouds lay low in the east, and now gradually its underside was lit in brilliant pink, then gold, then orange. "Oh!" breathed Bracken. Sunrise in the mountains was only a glow in the sky, never like this. The distant horizon circled all around. The edge of the sky met the earth. It seemed suddenly that it might be all right to be out in the wide world. Bracken felt brave and strong. She hung her hammock, climbed in, and swung gently, hidden by the leaves. She listened to the rush of water and felt the warming sun. She closed her eyes and slept. When she woke, the sun had set and night had fallen. She clambered out of her hammock, folded it neatly, and stowed it in her pocket. She had just finished eating and watching the stars come out one by one when she heard the first bark. She froze, listening. It was not one dog, but many, she realized with a chill. She got to her feet and pulled her broom from her pocket. Below her, twigs snapped and a smallish, humpbacked animal came lumbering through the trees. It stood for a moment, its head lolling. Then it staggered to the base of Bracken's tree and began to climb. It had a black mask and a bushy ringed tail. Bracken crouched, waiting as the creature climbed higher. The raccoon, for so it was, crawled along a branch, then hunched down, its back to the tree trunk. "Done for," it moaned as the barking grew louder and higher in pitch. Before Bracken could say anything, a dog bounded through the underbrush, barking in mad excitement. It ran to Bracken's tree, put its two front paws on the trunk, and howled into the darkness. Bracken leapt to her broom as dog after dog ringed the trunk, all baying in triumph. "Get on!" she cried, hovering in front of the raccoon. His whiskers quivered, then he jumped. Bracken's broom dipped. He was surprisingly heavy. The dogs howled frantically. A beam of light raked the tree branches. A dull bang and something rattled through the leaves. "Get him!" cried a human voice. There was another bang and more rattling. "Get him!" the voice cried again. "That way!" cried the raccoon, amid more banging and popping. "Yes," he said gleefully, "my finest escape ever!" More bangs and popping sounded. A sudden searing pain shot through Bracken's leg. The broom lurched wildly. "That way!" gasped the raccoon. Bracken craned around to see him pointing with one trembling finger. "There's a farm that way, an old one," he cried. "There's no hunting there." An owl hooted from a grove. Behind it loomed a sway-backed barn, its hayloft door hanging open. They hurtled through and crashed to the floor. Bracken slid from the broom and lay in a heap, clutching her leg. "You're bleeding," moaned the raccoon, wringing his little hands. From outside came a crunching, rumbling sound and a tumult of barking. It's a pickup truck, grasped the raccoon. They come in pickup trucks. Bracken hobbled to the hayloft door and watched, trembling, as two men with guns, got out, and then a human child, a boy with a gun. The men and the boy walked up the farmhouse steps and rapped on the door. A light came on above the porch and the front door opened. All right, but be quick about it, said a man's voice. The door slammed shut. The dogs barked mindlessly from the pickup truck. It came this way, said the boy's clear voice. It was huge. The human shone light into the trees, sweeping them in great arcs through the night. Then the boy and one man walked toward the barn. Fly, whispered the raccoon. He grabbed Bracken's broom and shoved it at her, but when she tried it, everything swirled crazily around her. I can't, she moaned. This way, hurry, said the raccoon, his voice shrill with fear. Bracken hobbled after him to a far corner where old dust, hay lay in drifts. She hid herself as best she could. Below them came a sliding, creaking sound. Two heads emerged through the opening in the hayloft floor and clambered up, guns in hand. Here, said the man, handing the boy a light. You find it. The boy swept the light back and forth along the heavy ceiling beams. I told you it was nothing, said the man. I saw it, said the boy. I swear to God, I saw it. The light played around the barn, casting crazy shadows. Then it shone straight into Bracken's eyes. A witch! Screamed the boy. He stepped closer. It's right there. See it? No, said the man. Hold the light, cried the boy. Shine it right there in the corner. He took his gun in both hands. He was lifting it to his shoulder when Bracken clutched her necklace and whispered the spell.